Hey Bridget, what do humans and zebras have in common?
They both like to eat apples.
No.
They both can have up to 20 different facial expressions.
No.
Well, then I give up.
We both sweat to cool off.
Sweat? I thought it smelled funny in here. Hey everyone, Bridget here at Como Park Zoo and Conservatory. Today we're going to talk about some plants and animals that live in hot and arid environments and what kind of adaptations they have to survive in extreme heat. One thing that humans are really good at if we're ever in hot environments is sweating. Sweat helps us to regulate our body temperature and cool ourselves off. But what about animals? Most animals cannot sweat like humans and zebras can to cool off. Many animals have adapted creative ways of regulating their body's temperature. Thermoregulation strategies help them not overheat, and they are able to survive in some pretty hot temperatures. Let's go take a look. This is Spike, the spiny mouse. Spiny mice are native to northern Africa, where it can get pretty hot. When you first look at the spiny mouse, what is one thing you notice? Spiny mice have large ears in comparison to their body size. This adaptation not only helps them hear well, it also helps them thermoregulate their body's temperature. Many animals that live in hot climates will have large ears. The reason for this is because ears contain an extensive network of blood vessels that will swell when the animal gets too hot. The larger the ears, the more surface area for heat exchange. Think of it as like built-in air conditioning. Let's look at another animal that can tolerate hot environments. Here I am with Como's resident giraffes, Daisy and Clover. Giraffes are native to the savanna in Africa where temperatures can reach the 90s year-round. Many savanna animals will roll in the dirt or mud or seek out water to submerge in, but giraffes' bodies are not meant for that kind of cooling off. Instead, giraffes have an amazing heat-reducing system, and it's all in their spots. A giraffe's spots help to expel heat from the giraffe's body. Under each spot, there is a complex system of blood vessels. By having blood flow close to the surface of each spot, the heat is able to escape the giraffe's body through the spots. Biologists have studied this by putting an infrared camera on giraffes. Let's see what it looks like. You can see that the spots glow under the infrared camera. That means the spots are doing their job and helping the giraffe to expel heat. Let's look at another cool adaptation from a hot environment that has very little food and water. This is Sunny, the leopard gecko. Leopard geckos are naturally found in the deserts of the Middle East. When you look at the leopard gecko, what are some physical features that you can see that might help it survive in a hot environment? The leopard gecko has a noticeably fat tail. If you compare it to other lizard tails, the gecko has one of the fattest. But there's a reason for that fat tail. The gecko's tail acts a lot like a camel's hump in that it stores fat. If there's a scarcity of food and water, which definitely happens in the desert, the gecko can survive off the fat reserves in its tail.
But what about plants in the desert?
Great question. Let's go see one of the most famous desert plants. One plant we all think of when we think of hot environments like the desert is the cactus. Cacti are great at retaining water because of their complex root structures. Depending on the species of cactus, their roots can have different functions. Some have roots that grow deep to access water underground. Others have shallow roots that will spread out horizontally to access any rainwater close to the surface of the soil. And some have water-storing tubers. Besides water retention, another thing that cacti are famous for are their spines. Those spines help protect the plant from any hungry animals that might want to eat the cactus, but they also provide protection from the sun. Believe it or not, these cactus spines provide the plant with shade from the sun, helping it to keep cool. Pretty cool! Just like the cactus, many animals have developed ways of retaining water within their bodies and limiting their water requirements. This is Cochise, the desert tortoise. Desert tortoises are native to southwestern United States, where it can be very hot and there's very little rainfall. The desert tortoise makes a perfect desert animal because they don't need to drink a lot of water at all. Incredibly, they can go an entire year without drinking a single drop. They also will only urinate when it rains, which doesn't happen very often in the desert. So they're losing moisture as they're gaining moisture. Another cool thing about the desert tortoise is more of a behavioral adaptation. They will dig burrows, which then collect rainwater, which is what the tortoises will use to drink out of. I'm here with two animals that both have the same behavioral adaptations to avoid the heat of their hot climates, and that is burying themselves. Many animals will bury themselves or burrow underground to avoid the heat of the day, and then at night, when it's cooler, will come out to find food. This is Bo, the Kenyan sand boa. Sand boas are found in eastern Africa. Sand boas spend their entire day submerged under the sand to keep them cool, and then when temperatures drop at night, will come out to hunt. Let's take a look. This is Joseph, the African bullfrog. African bullfrogs are found throughout sub-Saharan Africa. And just like the sand boa, the bullfrog spends a fair amount of his time underground to escape the heat and dryness of his environment. Bullfrogs have skin that will form a cocoon and seal in moisture. There, the bullfrog will stay for several months until the rainy season comes. Animals and plants have some amazing adaptations of keeping themselves cool. I wish I had some. Pass me the deodorant. Thanks. See you guys next time.